Book 4, the Book of Birth and Quest. Canto 1, the Birth and Childhood of the Flame. Across the burning languor of the soil paced summer with its pomp of violent moons, and stamped his tyranny of torrid light and the blue seal of a great burnished sky. Rain-tide burst in upon torn wings of heat, startled with lightning air's unquiet drowse, lashed with life-giving streams, the torpid soil, overcast with flare and sound and storm-winged dark. The star-defended doors of heaven's dim sleep, or from the gold eye of her paramour, covered with packed cloud veils, the earth's brown face. Earth's mood now changed. She lay in lulled repose. The hours went by with slow, contented tread. A wide and tranquil air remembered peace. Earth was the comrade of a happy sun. 3 thoughtful seasons passed with shining tread, and scanning one by one the pregnant hours, watched for a flame that lurked in luminous depths, the vigil of some mighty birth to come. Autumn led in the glory of her moons, and dreamed in the splendor of her lotus pools. And winter and dew time laid their calm, cool hands on nature's bosom, still in half sleep, and deepened with hues of lax and mellow ease the tranquil beauty of the waning year. Then spring, an ardent lover, leaped through the leaves and caught the earth bride in his eager clasp. His advent was a fire of irised hues. His arms were a circle of the arrival of joy. In this high-signaled moment of the gods, answering Earth's yearning and her cry for bliss, a greatness from our other countries came. A spirit of its celestial source, aware, descended into Earth's imperfect mold, and wept, not fallen to mortality, but looked on all with large and tranquil eyes. Outlined by the pressure of this new descent, a lovelier body formed than earth had known, as yet a prophecy only, and a hint, the glowing arc of a charmed, unseen whole. It came into the sky of mortal life, bright like the crescent horn of a gold moon, returning in a faint, illumined eve. But soon the link of the soul with form grew sure. Flooded was the dim cave with slow, conscient light. The seed grew into a delicate, marvelous bud. This bud disclosed a great and heavenly bloom. At once she seemed to found a mightier race. Her nature dwelt in a strong, separate air, like a strange bird with a large, rich-colored breast. That sojourns on a secret, fruited bough, lost in the emerald glory of the woods, or flies above divine, unreachable tops. An image made of heaven's transparent light. Its charm recalled things seen in vision's hours. A golden bridge spanning a fairy flood, a moon-touched palm tree single by the lake, companion of the wide and glimmering peace, a murmur as of leaves in paradise, moving when feet of the immortals pass. A fiery halo over sleeping hills, a strange and starry head alone in night. Canto 2, The Growth of the Flame. A land of mountains and wide sun-beat plains, and giant rivers pacing to vast seas, a field of creation and spiritual hush, silence swallowing life's axe into the deeps of thoughts transcendent, climb and heavenward leap. A brooding world of reverie and trance, filled with the mightiest works of God and man, where nature seemed a dream of the divine, and beauty and grace and grandeur had their home, harbored the childhood of the incarnate flame. A friend, and yet too great wholly to know, she walked in their front towards a greater light. Their leader and queen over their hearts and souls, one close to their bosoms, yet divine and far. They were moved by her towards greater unknown things. Some turned to her against their nature's bent, divided between wonder and revolt. Impatient subjects, their tied, longing hearts hugging the bonds close of which they most complained, murmured at a yoke they would have wept to lose, the splendid yoke of her beauty and her love. The force in her drew earth's subhuman broods, and to her spirit's large and free delight she joined the ardent-hued, magnificent lives of animal and bird and flower and tree. They answered to her with the simplest heart. A key to a light still kept in being's cave, the sun word of an ancient mystery's sense. Her name ran murmuring on the lips of men. No equal heart came close to join her heart. Midst those encircling lives, her spirit dwelt, apart in herself, until her hour of fate. Canto 3, The Call to the Quest. A morn that seemed a new creation's front, bringing a greater sunlight, happier skies, came burdened with a beauty moved and strange. Out of the changeless origin of things, King Aswapati listened through the ray to other sounds than meets the sense-formed ear. The voice withdrew into its hidden skies, but like a shining answer from the gods, approached through sun-bright spaces, Savitri. An impromptu from the deeper sight within, thoughts rose in him that knew not their own scope. Then to those large and brooding depths whence love regarded him across the straits of mind, he spoke in sentences from the unseen heights. Accustomed scenes were now an ended play, moving in muse amid familiar powers, touched by new magnitudes and fiery signs. She turned to vastness not yet her own. Allured, her heart throbbed to unknown sweetness. The secrets of an unseen world were close. When the pale dawn slipped through night's shadowy guard, vainly the new-born light desired her face. The palace woke to its own emptiness. The sovereign of its daily joys was far. Her moonbeam feet tinged not the loosened floors. The beauty and divinity were gone. Delight had fled to search the spacious world. Canto 4, The Quest. The world ways opened before Savitri. A guidance turned the dumb revolving wheels. And in the eager body of their speed, the dim masked, hooded godheads rode who move, assigned to man immutably from his birth, receivers of the inner and outer law. At once the agents of his spirit's will, and witnesses and executors of his fate. Often from gilded dusk to argent dawn, where jewel lamps flickered on frescoed walls, and the stone lattice stared at moonlit boughs. Half conscious of the tardy listening night, dimly she glided between banks of sleep at rest in the slumbering palaces of kings. Hamlet and village saw the fate wane pass, homes of a life bent to the soil it plows, for sustenance of its short and passing days. That transient keep their old repeated course unchanging in the circle of a sky which alters not above our mortal toil. Away from this thinking creature's burdened hours, to free and griefless space now she turned. Here was the childhood of primeval earth, imperial acres of the eternal sower, and wind-stirred grasslands winking in the sun, or mid green musing of woods and rough-browed hills, in the grove's murmurous bee air humming wild, or past the long lapsing voice of silver floods, like a swift hope journeying among its dreams, hastened the chariot of the golden bride. The bosom of our mother kept for us still her austere regions and her musing depths. Her impersonal reaches lonely and inspired, and the mightinesses of her rapture haunts. August, exulting in her Maker's eye, she felt her nearness to him in earth's breast, conversed still with a light behind the veil, still communed with eternity beyond. The seers attuned to the universal will, content in him who smiles behind earth's forms, abode ungrieved by the insistent days. About them, like green trees girding a hill, young grave disciples fashioned by their touch, trained to the simple act and conscious word, greatened within and grew to meet their heights. As floats a sunbeam through a shady place, the golden virgin in her carven car came gliding among meditation's seats. Awake in candid dawn or darkness mooned, to the still touch inclined the daughter of flame, drank in hushed splendor between tranquil lids, and felt the kinship of eternal calm. Still, unaccomplished was the fateful quest. Still she found not the one predestined face for which she sought amid the sons of men. End of Book 4. Book 5. The Book of Love. Canto 1. The Destined Meeting Place. But now the destined spot and hour were close. Unknowing, she had neared her nameless goal. Pale waters ran like glimmering threads of pearl. A sigh was straying among happy leaves, cool perfumed with slow pleasure-burdened feet. Faint stumbling breezes faltered among flowers. The white crane stood, a vivid, motionless streak. Peacock and parrot, jewel soil and tree. The dove's soft moan enriched the enamored air, and fire-winged wild drakes swam in silvery pools. A matted forest head invaded heaven, as if a blue-throated ascetic peered from the stone fastness of his mountain cell, regarding the brief gladness of the days, his vast, extended spirit couched behind. Canto 2. Satyavan. As might a soul on nature's background limbed stand out for a moment in a house of dream, created by the ardent breath of life, so he appeared against the forest verge, inset twixt green relief and golden ray. His lock was a wide daybreak of the gods. His head was a youthful rishi's touched with light. His body was a lover's and a king's. At first, her glance that took life's million shapes, impartially to people its treasure house. Along with sky and flower and hill and star, dwelt rather on the bright, harmonious scene. Her vision settled, caught, and all was changed. Her mind at first dwelt in ideal dreams, and saw in him the genius of the spot, a symbol figure standing mid earth's scenes, a king of life outlined in delicate air. Yet this was but a moment's reverie, for suddenly her heart looked out at him. The passionate seeing used thought cannot match, and knew one nearer than its own close strings. Hooves trampling fast, wheels largely stumbling, ceased. The chariot stood like an arrested wind, and Satyavan looked out from his soul's doors. And felt the enchantment of her liquid voice fill his youth's purple ambience, and endured the haunting miracle of a perfect face. Mastered by the honey of a strange flower mouth, drawn to soul spaces opening round a brow, he turned to the vision like a sea to the moon. And suffered a dream of beauty and of change, discovered the aureole round a mortal's head, adored a new divinity in things. Marveling, he came across the golden sward. Gaze met close and clung in sight's embrace. There is a power within that knows beyond our knowings. We are greater than our thoughts, and sometimes earth unveils that vision here. To live, to love, are signs of infinite things. Love is a glory from eternity's spheres. Canto 3, Satyavan and Savitri.
Thus Satyavan spoke first to Savitri. How art thou named among the sons of men? I have heard strange voices cross the ether's waves. The center's wizard song has thrilled my ear. I have glimpsed the apsaras bathing in the pools. I have seen the wood nymphs peering through the leaves. The winds have shown to me their trampling lords. I have beheld the princes of the sun burning in thousand-pillared houses of light. So now my mind could dream and my heart fear. Thou drovest thy horses from the thunderer's worlds.
Musing, she answered, I am Savitri, princess of Madra. Who art thou? What name, musical on earth, expresses thee to men? What trunk of kings, watered by fortunate streams, has flowered at last upon one happy branch?
And Satyavan replied to Savitri, in days when yet his sight looked clear on life, King Dumatsena, one the Shalwa, reigned. Heaven's brilliant gods recalled their careless gifts, took from blank eyes their glad and helping ray. He sojourns in two solitudes, within and in the solemn rustle of the woods. Son of that king, I, Satyavan, have lived contented, for not yet of thee aware, in my high-peopled loneliness of spirit. A vision spell pursued my boyhood's hours, the neighing pride of rapid life that roams, wind-maned through our pastures on my seeing mood, cast shapes of swiftness, trooping a spotted deer against the vesper sky, became a song of evening to the silence of my soul. I caught for some eternal eye the sudden kingfisher flashing to a darkling pool, a slow swan silvering the azure lake, a shape of magic whiteness sailed through dream. Pranked butterflies, the conscious flowers of air, the brilliant longbills in their vivid dress, the peacock scattering on the breeze his moons, painted my memory like a frescoed wall. I glimpsed the presence of the one in all, but still there lacked the last transcendent power. I shall feel the world mother in thy golden limbs, and hear her wisdom in thy sacred voice.
Speak more to me. Speak more, O Satyavan. Speak of thyself and all thou art within. Speak till the light shall come into my head, and my moved mortal mind shall understand. What all the deathless being in me feels, It knows that thou art he my spirit has sought amidst earth's thronging visages and forms, across the golden spaces of my life.
And Satyavan, like a replying harp to the insistent calling of a flute, answered her questioning and let stream to her his heart in many colored waves of speech. O golden princess, perfect Savitri, wilt thou not make this mortal bliss thy sphere? Descend, O happiness, with thy moon gold feet, enrich earth's floors, upon whose sleep we lie.
O Satyavan, I have heard thee, and I know. I know that thou, and only thou, art he. Then she came down from her high carven car, descending with a soft and faltering haste. Her gleaming feet upon the green gold sward scattered a memory of wandering beams, and lightly pressed the unspoken desire of earth, cherished in her too brief passing by the soil. Then, flitting like pale brilliant moths, her hands took from the sylvan verge's sunlit arms a load of their jewel faces, clustering swarms, companions of the springtime and the breeze. A candid garland set with simple forms, her rapid fingers taught a flower song, the stanza'd movement of a marriage hymn. A sacrament of joy in treasuring palms, she brought flower symbol of her offered life. Then, with raised hands that tremble a little now, at the very closeness that her soul desired, this bond of sweetness, their bright union's sign, she laid on the bosom coveted by her love. As if inclined before some gracious God who has, out of his mist of greatness, shone to fill with beauty his adorers' hours. She bowed and touched his feet with worshipping hands, and made her body the room of his delight, her beating heart a remembrancer of bliss. He bent to her and took into his own their married yearning, joined like folded hopes. as if a whole rich world suddenly possessed, wedded to all he had been, became himself, an inexhaustible joy, made his alone. He gathered all Savitri into his clasp.